The days are longer, the calendar is filling up, and I want to feel as good as this beautiful summer weather. That's why I've been loving Groons. It's one daily pack of gummies that covers my greens, vitamins, and minerals, and even has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber. So I don't need to juggle a complicated wellness routine on top of everything else. They taste amazing. They're easy to toss in my bag on the go. Plus, they're vegan, gluten-free, and HSA, FSA eligible for reimbursement. Save up to 52% off with promo code podcast at gruns.co. That's code podcast at gruns.co.
Holiday tips and fun facts from Paul, Kristen, and Dexter at Total Wine & More.
The custom of bumping glasses with the cheers came from old Rome. When in Rome, cheers.
A pork crown roast with cranberry stuffing deserves a ripe, fruit-forward Cabernet from Paso Robles. Let me help you find the perfect bottle.
Looking for the right wine for a meaningful gift? Consider me your wine concierge.
Whether you're entertaining or just bringing the wine, we'd love to share our always low prices and ridiculous selection with you. This holiday, now offering same-day delivery at TotalWine.com. Cheers!
Welcome back to TalkNorth.com. Thank you for listening. If you can, please download before you listen. It helps our business. I'd also like to thank our producer, Brandon Morton, and let you know if you'd like to sponsor this program or any of the programs on the network, you can reach me at jsouhan47@gmail.com. TalkNorth.com is powered by Bite Squad. Go to bitesquad.com or download their app. Get food to your door in minutes. Use the promo code TalkNorth to get your first delivery free. Talk North gets you your first delivery free.
Look at the moon.
What?
The moon.
We're in bright, shiny object mode with Michael Russo. He just pointed out the moon's up there.
Looks nice. I think we should start the show with that.
I think we should. We will start the show with that. Michael Russo's sitting here, and he's looking through the windows at Delano's, and we're about to talk about hockey and other things for about an hour, and he looks up and he goes, "Look, the moon." Have you been in one of those cities that sells sells legal cannabis lately? Because you're kind of acting. You're kind of acting like the Big Lebowski right now.
I have. I was actually in Denver a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, whenever this season feels like we're 50 games in. So I don't know when we were in Denver, but it was recent.
He's Michael Russo, who writes for The Athletic. You might have heard about that. And he's also the man who recently lost a wrestling match with a sock.
Yeah, that's true.
No denial. Yeah. We have it on the record.
And it's not. I was driving.
Are you recovered yet?
No, I was like. I realized today when I was driving, I was still like a little bruised there because when I was turning the steering wheel, it was hurting.
So you hurt your finger on a sock. Is that an upper body injury?
Yeah, it is. Well, it depends where you put your hand, I guess. If you're like dragging it, if it's below your hip, it'd be lower. Can we start this show again?
You're in a very weird mood. Yeah. This is going to be quite an interesting show. I will say we are live at Delano's Pizza. This is the Russo-Souhan Show, part of the TalkNorth.com podcast network. We had about 140,000 listens across the network last year, and Michael's show is the most popular on the network. Thanks to everybody who's made it a success. Thanks to Delano's Pizza, downtown Minneapolis, for hosting us. Again, 118 North 4th Street. It's right by Ramp C. It's easy walking distance to Target Field and Target Center. And my wife has been on kind of this special, I hate the word diet, but she's been on a regimen. And she's breaking the regimen because we're having a weekend in New York. She's starting tonight. And the first thing she has eaten off a restaurant menu in like 96 days was Delano's Pizza. And she wanted to come here because she loves the sauce. Jared makes a proprietary tomato sauce that goes on all the pizzas. I'm ordering pizzas. A friend of the program, Do we know who ordered all the food for us?
Russo's Filter.
Oh, so Nick, our friend Nick, who was in town last week, called up and Delano's and ordered food for a bunch of us. Thanks, Nick. We appreciate it.
Who also has a podcast on your network. Should we mention that?
He also does. He runs the Minnesota Sports Fan podcast on the network. Thanks to Nick, which means we get Delano's Pizza to take home, which I really appreciate. I also have to offer one correction before we get to hockey talk here. I've been saying recently, I've been trying to kind of combine a couple of sponsors and say, hey, we love Delano's Pizza. Delano's Pizza delivers, but you can also order Delano's Pizza at Bite Squad. Actually, the best thing for Delano's Pizza is if you either come in and eat or if you order directly from Delano's, go to delanospizza.com or call them. There it is, 612-767-9494. They also have a store in Woodbury, so that gives them a huge delivery area. So if you want Delano's food or pizza, order directly from Delano's. The Bite Squad deal is different because of Michael's deal. And let me get that one going here. Boy, I'm disorganized today. I'm like you today.
If you want to pregame prep here, you know what this all means is that Brandon's got to work harder condensing all this.
Brandon's going to have to work really hard to make this sound good. Also, for this weekend, Friday and Saturday, if you want to use Bite Squad, use the promo code WILD2018, WILD2018, and you'll get $10 off. It's kind of a Russo promotion for a big hockey weekend.
Wow.
All right, let's talk about the team. You want to go general or specific? Here's my question. How can 8 players plan to have babies during the season? Isn't that what the offseason is for?
Well, that's the Minnesota Winners, Bruce said. Nothing else to do during it. Was what he surmised. That should make... I almost made a joke before the season started, though. Another reason why I just had a bad feeling about this year was that there were 8 pregnant babies. Because it's, the second that baby is born now, you got a player that's not exactly getting sleep or concentrating on hockey and things like that, and now you're going to have 8 of those instances all year where players. There's going to be responsibilities beyond just the ice. So, all joking aside, Bruce is actually worried about that.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is real life, and so 42 kids on the Minnesota Wild after the season.
42?
Yeah, 42. And I'm not including the players.
Mary's not here to defend Granlund.
No, exactly. 42. So Mikko was the first. Had a little baby boy yesterday named Oscar. So congratulations to he and his wife, Helena. Still one of my favorite Mikko Koivu stories ever was 2 seasons ago. I went to lunch with him at Kincaid's. And I'm walking across Rice Park with him, and I'm thinking, what am I going to write about Mikko? I've written 50 Mikko stories. It might have been 3 seasons ago, actually. I'm pretty sure. And so he and I are just shooting the breeze, and all of a sudden I just go, how'd you ever meet your wife? And it was the most amazing story. He was during the World Championships in 2010, and he checks into a hotel in Helsinki, and he sees this beautiful woman behind the counter, an agent that's checking in people. So he switches to her line. She's from Estonia, and he's all proud. He's the captain of the World Championship team. And it wasn't 2010. It would have been 2012 maybe. So anyway, he goes up to her, and he's like, all proud, I'm Mikko Koivu. And she had no clue who he was. No clue. And so for the rest of the time that Team Finland was at this hotel, he was trying to, wow her. Brought her flowers, asked her to lunch, and finally she relented and went to lunch, and here they are 3 kids later. So
I'm shocked he couldn't just woo her with his personality.
With his steely eyes.
With his sense of humor.
Yeah. Mikko has a good sense of humor. It's just, takes a little while to find it.
Years?
Yeah.
Decades?
He's intense. There's no doubt about it. But, hey, it's pretty cool. I mean, the way, just seeing him change from that 23-year-old 2005, so he would have been, he debuted in 2005, so he would have been 22. Just to see him from a guy that, didn't speak a lot of English, had no clue what was going on, to now here, amazingly, now 14 seasons later, it's pretty neat to see how he's grown up. I mean, my entire career here in Minnesota has coincided with his career. He's so lucky. And that was supposed to be a joke, Jim. Jesus.
Coming from you, I thought it was just, just your ego coming out.
Well, both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations to Mikko.
I really just pressed you by not laughing at that joke.
Yeah, I know.
I apologize.
I think you zoned out.
If
Brian said it, Brian would have made you laugh.
I really don't listen to the show.
Yeah.
I apologize. Well, you've been doing the beat for a long time.
Yeah.
I covered pro beats for about 9-10 years, probably a little bit longer than that in different roles. And one of the cool things about hockey and baseball is you really do get to know these guys when they're very young, and you do watch them grow up. I always tell people, I met Justin Morneau the day he was drafted by the Twins. I was up in the Twins front office because things were a lot more loose back then.
Yeah.
And I ended up sitting there and talking to him, and he had trouble forming sentences. He had trouble saying more than one word at a time. And then he was kind of awkward through his minor league career and through his struggles. And then, then that 2006 season where he becomes the MVP, he just kind of came out of his shell. And now he's a television announcer, and he's really good at it. So you really do get to see people kind of grow up.
No, it is. It's amazing. And Ryan Carter is a perfect example right now. Just seeing him on TV and how good he is at his job. He's going to be an absolute superstar here in a couple of years from a personality standpoint. But yeah, Mikko's absolutely changed. I mean, in a lot of ways, he's the same person, intense. Still, he's got that intensity on the ice that has made him a good player for all these years. But it is, you're right. I mean, I've said it a gazillion times. The first player I ever met on the Minnesota Wild was Mikko. I walked into the locker room, and there he was. And I'm like, oh, there's their first-round pick. He's about to make his NHL debut this year. And I went right up to him. And here, I've covered him now. This is my 14th season and his 14th season. And, he's somebody that it was really cool when we got to go to Finland in 2010 and seeing him in his kind of his natural habitat, for lack of a better term. And how he's absolutely worshipped by fans over in Finland, how the media there absolutely adores him. It was pretty neat to see.
Absolutely.
And he'll play his 1,000th game later this season,
cool.
Which I reminded him of the other day, and he got all ticked about it. As usual, the Russo curse continues. He misses his next game.
Does he think it's a jinx or something?
How about last year when I wrote the Nate Prosser story that he played, he set his Ironman streak, and he gets hurt in the first period. That was funny.
Don't ever write about me.
Yeah. So
please.
He came back.
Again, we're live at Delano's Pizza, 118 North 4th Street, downtown Minneapolis. They also have a joint in Woodbury, and they have a huge delivery area, delanospizza.com or 612-767-9494. Reminders, our producer's Brandon Morton. We appreciate his work. If you listen to the show, please download before you listen. It's a better listening experience, better for us. If you'd like to sponsor any of the shows across the network, including some of the new ones with Jeff Diamond, the former Vikings GM, or Kevin Gorg, who's doing kind of a fantasy and hockey show, you can reach me at jsouhan47@gmail.com. Thanks to sponsors Delano Pizza, BiteSquad.com, The Athletic, we'll tell you about that later, Twill in the Edina Galleria, WizKids.tech, FixologyRepair.com, and Tony Hoagland, your State Farm agent in Champlin. I'm going to New York tomorrow. Stacy and I are going to head out there. We're going to see Hamilton this weekend. We're going to see Springsteen next weekend.
You should see Frozen. My friend's the lead in Frozen.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then you get me tickets.
Yeah. Well, I can get you house seats, but you'd have to pay.
So you have a lot of pull here is what you're trying to say.
I'm just saying, you can't get freebies to a show like Frozen.
I just thought a big deal like you would be able to pull some strings.
Maybe. We'll see.
I was telling Vicky a story. You're a New York area guy, and I've always said that New Yorkers are gruff, but I really like them once you get to know them. And so I'm covering the Twins.
That would definitely explain me.
Yes. Well, half of you. So we fly into New York on a Sunday night. I'm going to cover a Twins series, and I'm sitting at Carmine's at the bar just eating spaghetti or something, And there's a short, skinny guy and a big guy at the end of the bar. They end up striking up a conversation. And, as a sports
right by the Marriott Marquis, right?
Yeah.
I met a famous actor there once.
Yeah. And so we're talking, and, we get – and this is back in the day where it was pretty easy to get tickets for Major League Baseball games. And I said, hey, can I get you some tickets for the Twins Yankees? They're like, oh, no, we don't have any interest. Let us get you tickets to Phantom of the Opera. And at that point, it was sold out every night. It was the packed house right down the street. And they basically ran the stage and the production. So I show up, and they bring me in. Right when I think that it was some kind of a hoax, they weren't going to take care of me, they sent a guy out in like a butler suit. He takes me in for standing room only. I'm like, this is great. Free Broadway show. I didn't expect this. And then just as the first notes start, they take me down like second row center. And I sit there and get to watch Phantom of the Opera. And as I'm leaving, I'm looking to say thank you to somebody. They send another guy, and they give me a backstage tour. And I was telling Vicky and Clive, they fold those huge Broadway floats that are just like football fields wide. They fold them all into the size of a card table, and they slide them up in the ceiling.
Yeah.
I had never figured out what they did before.
Yeah. Well, even when I went to the Orpheum here to see Book of Mormon a couple years ago, my buddy was the lead in that. And he brought us backstage after the show. I was with Don Mitchell and Paul Fletcher and his wife, and we went backstage after the show, and they were fascinated by it, where they put this stuff. And the Orpheum backstage is not big at all. And it is, that's the coolest part of when you get these backstage tours of these especially theaters, on how they have to essentially either lift it or put it under the stage or right back there, and how they put it on. First time I saw, Casey Levy is my friend. She's the lead in Frozen right now. First time I went to New York, and I was staying with she and her husband David, and she was doing. It was the first night of Ghost, where they call previews, and previews for a Broadway show are when all the ink-stained wretches, like sports writers. This is a great story, actually. So this is when the theater critics come and watch. Well, so I'm staying with them, and they always joke, but maybe it's true, that I am the absolute worst luck. Well, she's doing her solo at the beginning of the thing, and they had these like LED boards behind her, and all of a sudden the thing closed and crashed all over in the middle of her number. Just absolutely exploded. They didn't have it. They essentially had it, mismeasured, and the two sliding things cracked and absolutely in the middle of her thing. And so the next day, she was obviously not happy. It's not her fault, but it's, this is like New York Times is there and Broadway.com and everybody, and they pan the show. And I'm reading it, and I'm getting angry and angrier. And
damn journalists. Yeah.
And then David, my buddy, he goes to me, you realize this is what you do. And it was like, this, so I'm getting absolutely pissed at these critics because it's my friend. And then it all of a sudden it makes me realize what dumb his family and friends must think of me. Actually, I could tell you right now, Eric Holla's friends in this town despise me. They used to just trash me on Twitter, and it was because, here I am criticizing their buddy, which I got. It was like an eye-opener.
I can't believe you people who actually just write mean things in the paper.
Exactly, especially you.
Stop.
Yeah.
So Stacey and I also went to see Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
We saw Book of Mormon at the Orpheum here, and to our left were a bunch of people who enjoyed it as much as we did. To our right, we're convinced the people on our right were Mormons.
Yeah.
Because they turned white as the production started, and they did not come back after an intermission.
Yeah, they do. I've heard that story from David Larson was the one that was in Book of Mormon when it was touring around, and David said there's some people that are Mormon that just don't get what it is when they're coming to it, and all of a sudden they realize quickly, and adios. So.
One more reminder about the Bite Squad code. This weekend, Friday and Saturday, get $10 off your order with the promo code WILD2018, WILD all caps 2018. Do you want to talk about your athletic deal right now?
Yeah, well, right now, so Athletic is, if you're not a subscriber, we have a great deal with you for you, theathletic.com/IKnowRusso. That's 40% off, $2.99 a month for the first year, and you get everything. We have 700 stories a week, no ads, no pop-ups, no autoplay, videos, the cleanest app you'll ever see. I went to that I mentioned on the last podcast, but I was giving an experiment to somebody, actually last night, Gabe Polsky. This is funny. So Gabe Polsky, who's a Hollywood director, he directed Red Army. So tonight he's at the Walker premiering a special private screening of his new film In Search of Greatness, which is a documentary where he sits down with people like Wayne Gretzky, Jerry Rice, Pele, and does this big thing. So last night he came to the Wild game as a guest of mine so I can talk to him. And so he starts asking me how the Athletic's going, and I'm showing him. And then I went to a local newspaper's website in town, and I showed him. I'm like, here's what I mean. And I went to it, and it was like, boom, boom, boom. I couldn't even move my cursor to close the thing. I had to do Control, Alt, delete just to close this website here in town of this
And you're not
local
ripping my newspaper right
no,
now,
I would
are you?
say a different newspaper.
That's what I thought.
Yep, totally different newspaper. And that's the great part of the Athletic, and you just get some unbelievable stories. Like Friday, I am going to have, if I write it right, a Greg Patterson story that is one of the most heartwarming stories I think I'm ever going to write. I'm going to write it tomorrow on the plane. I don't want to give too much away, but it's such a cool story. And I talked to this mom and this 12-year-old boy today about the story, and honestly, I was on the phone, like, kind of just listening to how touching the story is, and so I'm looking forward to writing that. But then again, if I was writing that for a newspaper, you have to chop it to a finite amount of space. It's going to run during you have to sometimes say, all right, it's going to run on a Friday. Well, Friday is a big day for when you're going to really do your Vikings previews. So like that, it's going to probably have to get buried in the back of the paper. So that's what's the cool part of the Athletic, Jim, is that you can just sit there and, there's no front page, right? I mean, it's just you don't have to really compete with the other sports in town, even though we do cover all the sports. So
what's the promo code again?
theathletic.com/IKnowRusso.
All righty, cool. We have a big crowd here. If anybody wants to come up with live questions. We have a mic over here by Michael. You get to get close to Michael Russo's yes.
And we have all these giveaways here.
And what are the gifts? You're the one who laid out all these gifts.
I mean, pretty much it's garbage. We got like Minnesota Wild yearbooks. We got the 2004 to 11 CBA. That was the second of 3 lockouts that I've covered.
God, what a geeky show we are. We're giving away a CBA.
If you have a VHS...
Do you have any accounting textbooks we can give away?
Yeah, if you have a VCR, Mr. Jacobson...
We're giving away a CBA, and we're giving away VHS tapes.
Mr. Jacobson, you'll have to explain what a VCR is to your son over there. I'm giving away Slapshot.
Okay.
We got a Minnesota Wild... I don't think they could call it a Rubik's Cube because Rubik's didn't make it, so some sort of cube. But it's kind of like a Rubik's Cube. We got some DVDs. You'll have to explain that also to your son probably. We got Gretzky, Ultimate Gretzky. We got Ice Kings. We got Honor and Courage.
Seinfeld.
Greatest moments of something. We got an Alex Ovechkin 500 goals tape, and we have some Seinfeld VHS tapes.
Are you in these episodes?
We got some pins, pins for your lapel. I am in that Alex Ovechkin thing. I haven't turned it on yet.
I meant, are you in Seinfeld?
Oh, no. But I grew up on Vista Del Boca Drive.
To me, you're kind of half Kramer, half Costanza.
So my address growing up in Boca Raton, Florida, was Vista Del Boca Drive, and if you remember Seinfeld, Del Boca Vista was the street in that show. The Sun Sentinel's is in that show. So I used to love Seinfeld also because I grew up in South Florida. So whenever Jerry would go visit his parents, he'd see all this kind of cool stuff from my childhood. So there we go. Those are the giveaways. If you ask a question, also we have athletic phone wallets. So if you ask a question, pick something there. I did forget my Negative Dave T-shirt that I'll bring next time. We have business cards for the Athletic, too, that if you want to grab, you can give to your friends. Colin. You should start handing those out on the University of Minnesota campus.
Absolutely.
All right.
I mean, even college students can handle $3 a month.
And I have so many extra giveaways that if you don't ask a question, you'll probably get something, too.
Everybody's going to walk away with something if you want. So again, come up and ask live questions. What hockey topic do you want to tackle first that we haven't got?
Whatever Ken Cutler wants to talk about.
You have a question, Ken? All right, bring it. Tell you what, while Ken's coming up, let me thank Twill and the Edina Galleria, twillmn.com. I'm actually not wearing Twill today, which is a rarity for me, but Barbara...
That you could see.
And you can tell, yes. But check out twillmn.com, check out Twill on Instagram. Again, Edina Galleria, the most pleasant shopping experience you will have.
Jim usually doesn't like to shop for clothes. I don't like it when he shops for clothes either, because he used to buy stuff I'd want to throw out. That's why I'm so glad he's found Twill in the Edina Galleria. He likes shopping there because of the comfortable environment and the friendly staff. He finds clothes that actually fit him properly and are high-quality brands that will look great for years, whether he's golfing or working. Our favorites so far are Peter Millar, Johnny O, and Barber. We spend our money at Twill because we love the clothes and we love the no-pressure shopping. Drop by Twill in the Edina Galleria for the best shopping experience and best clothes you'll find in the Twin Cities.
Okay. All right, Ken.
Two questions. One, when does Boudreaux figure out how to do 3-on-3? and keep, shall we say, Koivu, Parisi, and Suter off the ice since they play the entire period?
Yeah.
Second question is, how in the world do they not anticipate with Eck out and Koivu's wife getting ready to deliver that maybe they should bring somebody up just in case?
I don't get it. I mean, this happened when Chuck Fletcher was here, too. There were 3, 4, 5 times where they would wind up scrambling at the last second. They didn't have enough players. And this one just was, to me, mysteriously, and that's why I put some conjecture in my story today, saying, well, maybe they're trying to accrue some cap space. But really, one day of Matt Reed is going to add $2,000 to the cap. I mean, I just don't get it. It made no sense. Also because, you know, they lost to Carolina. Then you come back with the same lineup after Eriksson Ek's hurt. You go to Nashville. You have a couple guys that Bruce doesn't even feel comfortable putting on the ice late in the game, and you don't get a fresh forward here for the second of a back-to-back. And then, to make matters worse, which makes it to me more mysterious, is Bruce admits in the post-game news conference that there was somebody in the Nashville game that was sick. So how then just do you not wake up the next morning? You don't know that the next morning if that guy's going to be able to play, so how come they didn't call anybody up? So it's just, hey, you know, it's easy to say rookie GM, but he's got a huge staff with him too. I mean, it's there's got to be a reason that they're not saying. But obviously they called Matt Reed up today with Matt Hendricks now hurt, and we'll see. What was the other question again? Oh, 3-on-3. You know, I will say, and I don't want to sound like an apologist, but Parisi and Suter did set up the winner the game before. But you're right. I mean, I don't understand why the 3 veterans. It's one thing. Look, there is an ego to this team that we saw with Mike Yeo. We saw it with there's a lot of things that he's got to deal with in the locker room that the average fan might not care about or appreciate. But that is the fact of life. When you have 3 guys like that on the team, they've got to get on the ice in ice time. But now they don't have to be on the ice together in overtime. And the other thing is that it is incumbent on them to play shorter shifts. This happens over and over again. There's a reason why this team has lost more games in overtime with Suter and Koivu on the ice than anybody else. And again, that was a game where they couldn't get any possession of the puck, and that's one big reason why Zach played a 67-second shift in overtime, and that's just too much. It's too much for the fastest and youngest player, let alone somebody that's 34. So I agree.
Who's off to the best start on the team?
Zach, I think. I think Zach's been outstanding. He has 7 points in 6 games now, and last night he didn't. This has come out on Thursday, but so last night being Tuesday, I thought he was the best forward on the ice again, and he didn't have a point. So I'm sure he's frustrated that he wishes he had more than 1 goal, but he's been absolutely awesome in my opinion, and it's because he's healthy. I mean, you just watch him battle for a puck behind the net now, watching him skate. He's a totally different player, and so I do think that he's playing really well. I like Zucker's game. Some nights he's off. Some nights he's taken some, he had a couple bad turnovers. The icing was a bad mistake. But for the most part, he's been probably their best forward. On the back end, I like the way most guys are playing. I actually like the way Suter's playing. I like the way Spurge is playing. I like, for the most part, the way Dumb is playing. Their blue line has been pretty good. Up front, there needs to be a lot of better performances from guys like Mikko, Charlie Coyle, although I thought Coyle was better yesterday. Nino has been, really non-existent. And Granlund played really well yesterday and in the third period against Carolina. But other than that, he's been a big disappointment.
Suter, is he playing better than you would have expected given the degree of his injury?
Yeah. I just talked to somebody on the phone, a former coach, and he was commenting to me about Arizona the other day and how slow they looked compared to Minnesota. And he's like, and the example he used is how many times they had trouble chasing down Ryan. So that says something, and this is a coach talking about this, and he's recognizing that. So that's an indictment on Arizona, who's a much younger, faster team than the Wild, but also says something about the way that Ryan is playing. Now, I know people have been frustrated with a couple of the screens that he's created the last couple games, both in Nashville and the game against Carolina, the one in overtime and then the winning goal in Nashville. But those to me have nothing really to do with the injury. That's just kind of bad mistake, or there were other factors that led to that. But that has nothing to do with the injury. I think he's skating well. I'm watching him walk off the ice. He's walking without a limp. He's playing, much better than I thought that he would. Look, this guy had. I was telling Steven, who I did a podcast with Steven. I'm not sure the name of his show. I feel bad, but
Steven Strom.
Yeah. Is it just the Steven Strom
show?
Okay,
yeah.
so this will come out Sunday. But I was telling Steven today, like I was talking to doctors this week that were telling me what was going on back in April when they were figuring out the surgery that he would need. And the amount of opinions that he got and all this stuff and how career-threatening this injury really was. I mean, the surgery that he wound up having with one of the best surgeons in the world was a surgery that even guys at Mayo didn't want him to have or would have done it a different way. And so, this was scary, both for him, for the future of the organization, for everybody around. And so for him to now be on the ice without missing a game and playing 27 minutes a night, one, says everything about him, but two, just shows you how special of a player this really is. And I know that sometimes he drives Wild fans nuts with the pace that he plays with, or the casual wristers that he takes on the blue line and things like that. But he is a special defender and this team is much better with him on the ice. And again, there's a reason why next Thursday he's going to be playing his 1,000th game. Knock on wood. Hopefully, I didn't just ruin him, especially as he's about to get on a plane and go back to the scene of the crime, so to speak, in Dallas. Apologies.
Casual wrister, that'd be a good band name, I think.
Yep.
I ask you this periodically. Well, actually, answer this in 1 second. I want to think about it.
I can't answer anything in 1 second.
Delay a second.
Okay.
Who is the best player in the NHL right now? I do want to thank WhizKids.tech, WHIZKIDS.tech. If your company needs a technology ally, they are a Minneapolis company that has grown by leaps and bounds, doing very well now. And now they have a big old what do you call it? Banner, billboard. Billboard is the word I was looking for, on Washington Avenue. So, we appreciate that they've been sponsoring this program and programs across our network, and they're also growing enough to really getting to be showing off at this point. So, thanks to Michael Thanert for his support.
Hello, Minnesota sports fans. This is Michael Thanert, founder and CEO of WhizKids. WhizKids is a Minneapolis-based managed IT, hosted VoIP, and cloud services provider. Businesses today require fast response times, skilled support staff, clear communication, and technology recommendations that align with their business goals. At WhizKids, we do this each and every day with our clients. When you call into our help desk for support or work with one of our higher-level engineers on a complex issue, you'll find our staff personable and ready to roll up their sleeves to help you solve your technology problems. Reach out to WhizKids today to find out how we can help your business meet your technology goals. Visit us online at whizkids.tech. That's whizkids.tech. WhizKids, make it happen.
Connor McDavid, that's the best player in the league. Close
Is
second
it that
might
clear?
be Austin. Oh, yeah. He's the best player in the league.
Who's two?
I would say Crosby still, and then Austin Matthews is going to be. He's just right there. It's going to be Matthews and McDavid forever. For the rest of our lives that we're watching this sport, those two are going to be dominant. Obviously a little hyperbole. Well, maybe the rest of my life.
Remember, get a couple drinks in and come up and ask a question. It'll be fun.
By the way, Ken, did you take something? Clearly, that CBA is something you would want.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't spend the weekend
that.
with the CBA.
I'll leave it for the other folks.
Okay, so first thing, more of a joke than anything, but
I like your shirt.
Oh, yeah. Got it from
It's
here.
a classic.
Got it from here. As much as I love Prosser, hopefully Dubnik's wife's not pregnant, because I don't want to see him suit up
That's
as a
like a
backup
good question.
goalie.
I can't say some people I can't say whose wives are pregnant.
That sounded like a yes to me.
I forced a player to admit that his wife was pregnant the other day. Like, his family doesn't even know yet. I'm like, well, you better tell him by Friday.
They told you before they told their family.
Yeah, he really didn't want to, but I'm like,
well, how did you get him to?
I just made him tell me.
Did you bring the sock? the sock of pain? Did you bring that and threaten him with it?
Yeah. I should actually probably remind him that you might want to tell your family by Friday.
This is a warning. Don't ever tell Michael anything unless you want it to be on this podcast.
On the media.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Okay, actual question. So reading the article on The Athletic earlier about the William Nylander, the whole thing, I mean, 6 games in, they're talking about the Wild making some sort of a ridiculous trade to obtain him from the Leafs. Not that exact trade, but knowing Fenton's past, is that something that we should expect to see at the trade deadline? Is like see somebody like a Spurgeon and some other conditional things going to get a young player like that, or even like maybe not as young as him, but another player of that caliber from a team that needs defensemen that we can make happen.
There is nothing more fun at these podcasts and watch Vicky panic with questions. I'm just saying. You almost made her keel over with the Spurgeon comment, and it absolutely made this entire experience worth it for me. I would read the story on The Athletic today because you might throw up some more. Because that's the reason why he brought up Spurgeon. First of all, the story that you're talking about, Tony Abbott, one of our contributors, wrote per my request, because I do think that there's an alignment there that makes a lot of sense. The Wild are looking for a young, dynamic forward. He's 22. They would control his rights for a long time. He's asking for $8 million a year, but Tony took definitely a different tack than I would have. I don't think he's worth $8 million a year and wouldn't make a move. I don't think he's a better player than Johnny Gaudreau or David Pastrnak, and those guys make $6.75 and $6.6 respectively. At 7:22, please remind me to update my parking. So anyway,
always focused. Michael Russo's always focused on the here and now. He's here for you.
The other
he
thing
cannot be distracted.
The other thing that that in my opinion, again, and I haven't seen Nylander enough, but Tony has watched him a lot, and Tony digs into the analytical numbers, which is why I wanted Tony to write the story. But I look at a guy that has played 13 playoff games next to Austin Matthews, and he somehow only has 2 goals, which I inserted into the story, by the way. So you could probably see in Tony's story the areas where I inserted, but I thought he did a great job. But to answer your question, and to me, whether or not Tony's story winds up coming to fruition at all, because I will say Kyle Dubas is in Switzerland right now at a neutral site because everything's in Switzerland. So they met at a place that would be unaffiliated with them being in Sweden, and yet it still got out. They're working on a bridge deal. I think they get it done. I think that Kyle Dubas is going to have to assure him that if you take a $6 million bridge deal, that they are not going to trade you in the 2 or 3 years. There's a lot of dynamics here that Kyle is under pressure on. One is John Tavares was promised that if he signed undervalue, that the core would stay together. And if all of a sudden William Nylander is not part of the core, he's got to worry about pissing off Tavares. Obviously Marner and Austin are a big part of that, and I don't think John's going to freak out on him, but he was promised, look, if I come here and take this, can you keep these 3? And he was assured yes. The other thing is that if Kyle's got to be careful here. You cannot promise William Nylander, yes, if you sign in your opinion, under market, that then if you promise him I'm not going to trade you, and then you turn around and trade him, that is going to get around the league and make him look bad, if that makes sense. So I think that he's going to have to look him in the eyes and say, you are part of our core, we're not going to move you. And then what he needs is insurance from Austin and Marner that they're going to sign at the right market. So, but to get back to your question, I do expect at some point, this is a vanilla bland team, to be blunt, and Paul Fenton is not a vanilla bland guy. He's got a big personality, and he's going to want to come here and put his stamp on this team, and I expect it at some point. I just don't know when. That could be now. That could be at the trade deadline. That could be next summer, whenever. So am I hearing like was that you? Were you whistling?
I don't think I was.
Well, then maybe it's an aneurysm happening. So anyway, There was some sort of background noise, no? Was I
You're hearing things just as you often see things. Hey, before our next live question, I want to thank John Hedges from Fixology Repair. He's here tonight. He has a downtown Minneapolis location. It's on the Skyway. Also has a place, third floor of the Mall of America, up by Nordstrom's. And John, we've told you about his watch repair. The gifts you can buy there, the watches they sell, the iPad and phone repairs they do. Now they have hired someone to do video game console repair in addition to all the other services. So, and that's at the Mall of America location. So video game consoles as well as all the other things they sell, all the other services they provide, including iPad, iWatch, iPhone, other phone type of repair. So check them out at fixologyrepair.com.
There are some things in life that you just can't live without. Now, whether it's a special piece of jewelry, a watch, or even your smartphone, you want it in working condition. At Fixology Repair, we are committed to restoring your pieces so that everything works or fits the way it ought to. Watch servicing, chain repair, and broken screen replacements are just a few of the services that we offer at our 2 locations, Mall of America and the Skyway in downtown Minneapolis. Please visit us at fixologyrepair.com or at fixologymn on Twitter to learn more. Mention this ad and get a 10% discount on our services.
Yes, sir.
You're talking about Fenton's putting his stamp on the team. You were pretty good friends or knew Fletcher pretty well. If he hadn't have been fired, what type of moves do you think he would have done in the offseason, or what type of moves do you know that he would have done in the offseason?
Well, the one thing I will say to you is that if he was not fired, there'd definitely be trades by now because he would have had to. I mean, you could not come back with this core again. And he was, I was in the elevator with him after that loss, and he knew he was getting fired. I mean, you saw it on his face. He knew I was writing it, everything. By the way, take a gift.
Yeah, please take a gift.
So, okay. A Rubik's Cube is what you took?
Puzzle
okay.
cube.
That seems cool. So anyway, there seems to be other things you could take too.
Yeah, the CBA. I can't believe anybody has taken the CBA yet.
I used to read that thing front and back. I don't get it. No.
Yeah, we know.
I think Coyle, Nino, I think those guys probably would have been goners. He could have probably, as our RFA, maybe made the move on Zucker. I think that would have been a huge mistake. As I said a gazillion times, this organization and the history of it being around, an organization that has developed almost no forward since 2003, which is just insane how little impact forwards this organization has developed. They finally develop a 30-goal scorer beyond Gabrick. It would have been hard to trade him. So Nino and Coyle are the 2 guys that I still think Paul Fenton's probably going to look at. I mean, I hate to say it like this. I said this to Steven too, but because I like them both, but if you're Paul Fenton, you've probably seen all you need to see from those 2 right now. I mean, Coyle's maddening. That play last night epitomized him. That play when Zucker dropped the puck and he has the entire, everything's easy from the press box. I get it. It's an easy game from upstairs, but the waves are parted in front of him. All he's got to do is drive to the net. And what does he do? He inexplicably goes to his backhand and then circles around the net, and even when he goes to his backhand, and he's around the defender, it's like you got Stahl teed up in the right circle, and he doesn't make that play, and nothing happens. So that to me is that, and then just a bad start to his season. So my guess is Nino and Coyle for Chuck. Maybe Brodin. I think it would have been hard for anybody to trade Brodin, Fenton, or Chuck with the Suter.
Vicky, get him.
Vicky, you just got the Russo Slack sigh. Come up here with your iPhone out, ready to read me a soliloquy.
I have to represent Philip correctly.
Absolutely.
But you can be sure that Coyle will be gone because I put his name and number on a jersey. Every time I do that,
he's gone.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So
who else?
Ralston.
Mm-hmm.
Hendrickson.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all gone. Sadly.
I remember I was at the All-Star game in Atlanta, and it was the first time that I met, and it's amazing. I think it was 40. It was the first time I met one of Craig Leopold's sons. I've met them all, but the youngest, which must be 40, who's about to graduate college. Crazy. Oh my God, am I old? But anyway, so I see them. We're at this giant convention center near Phillips Arena, and Leopold's walking around there with his son, and Forty was wearing a Ralston jersey. And I remember texting Ralston and saying, "Hey, good news," because he was a free agent. Good news, Leopold's son's wearing your jersey. Well, didn't matter.
That was a sad move.
Yeah.
Well, Philip has a couple comments. No, he just felt it was necessary, it was appropriate to repeat a question that has been on Twitter before. What is it about wild forwards that perpetually make backup goalies look like Vezina candidates?
Yeah, I know. Kemper, man. Like even Kemper last night, I went down and said something to one of the other reporters. Said it's a shame Arizona is up 2-1 because then we know the Wild are going to win 5-1 or 5-2 because that was Kemper's MO, was just melt down in the third period. And even last night he was great, but if you think about it, on the winning goal he was just swimming out of his net. So it's been for the entire history that I've covered this team. Yeah. Yep.
I enjoyed his attitude last night. He was into it for sure.
Stahl?
No,
Kemp's? Yeah, he was. He was awesome. He was great.
Yeah, he was fun to watch.
Yep.
And also, according to evolvinghockey.com, Granlund has the worst GAR among wild forwards.
Oh, not a superstar?
No.
Here's what I would have to go back.
Why
for
do
the
players'
rest
families
of,
hate you?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
So Philip, who we got into the big fight at the beginning of the podcast, the first podcast here at Delano's, he made me melt down because he was he was upset that I didn't think Granlund was a superstar, and it sounds like Philip's agreeing that I was right. Shocker. But the one thing I will say, here's the definition of a superstar that I probably didn't convey really well on that one. And is a superstar is somebody that, remember we were talking about one of the things was, well, if he didn't play with Koivu, would he be better? And yeah, that's fair. But you know what a definition of a superstar is? If you put Mario Lemieux with freaking Rob Brown, he's still Mario Lemieux. If you put Sidney Crosby with anybody, he's still Sidney Crosby. If you put McDavid with anybody, look at the Edmonton Oilers. McDavid is the only thing they have. He's still Connor McDavid. Matthews with anybody. Alex Ovechkin is still going to be Alex Ovechkin. A superstar should not depend on who his center is or who his winger is, and that's the Wild do not have that player. They just don't. And that's something else, to get back to your question, that I think Paul Fenton has absolutely identified here, is that there's still not that. I remember one of my first Decembers were up in Edmonton. My first, you can fact check this. I don't think I'm wrong on this, but my first year covering the Wild, the league went into this experiment where they were going to have like series in cities where you go there for back-to-back home games, same team play there. And I remember the Wild go to Edmonton, and they were there right after Christmas, played 2 games in a row. The Wild were playing like, Brandon. They were playing like crap, and all of a sudden, Gabbert gets 2 breakaways in third period, and boom. Well, that's what they don't have. Is the guy that when the team stinks or when you need a goal desperately in the third period in Nashville, that they don't have that guy that could do it. Zucker could do it on occasion. He was unbelievable against Chicago, but he hasn't been anywhere since. And that's what this team is they don't have the guys that can consistently every single night get 3, 4, 5 points a night, which – I mean, look what Matthews has done already this season. Look what Matthews has done to Kapanen this season, Kasperi Kapanen. That's a superstar. Which, by the way, Kapanen is doing right now what William Nylander never did with Matthews. But anyway.
Vicky, you and Philip are the combined MVP of the podcast. You always get him going.
Mm-hmm.
I think Philip got the message. He even has a response to your anticipated reaction. He says...
Not that you're predictable.
I love this. A fair shot is fairly received.
Okay, good. Nice.
But LaPanta says not to worry about until Thanksgiving.
LaPanta.
See? That's exactly what he thought
you said. LaPanta the way was it Seinfeld?
We're at dinner at the Kane Steakhouse the other day, and I was trying not to, okay? And finally, we were doing so well. We're like halfway through the meal. We haven't talked about the Wild. And finally, I'm just like, so what do you think about this team? Well, they're a playoff team. like, what? Well, why are they just a playoff team? Like, snap the fingers. He goes, well, like, who are they, not better than? I mean, like, he goes to me, he's like, they're better than Colorado. I'm like, what? Like, I mean, honestly. Like, are we going to start with that as your, like, they're better than Colorado? Like, come on, man. I mean, have you not watched Nathan McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen? Have you not watched Kerfoot? I mean, their second line is so much better than they were last year. Their blue line's so much better than they were.
Oh, we got the Russo sigh.
Now here's his question.
Yeah. Wait, he hasn't asked the question?
I don't need to show up for these shows. I'm just going to have you
He's awesome,
ask Philip questions.
Several years ago, there was...
You should send some of this stuff to Philip.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll take a picture of it and see what he wants. Several years ago, there was consistent rumblings about the lack of physicality on the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that Fletcher and Fenton, by trying to get a more physical lineup, swung the pendulum too far in that direction? All anyone seems to talk about this year is the lack of speed.
Well, I mean, first of all, I will say every GM reacts to what happens the year before, things like that. I remember 2007. Wild get the worst matchup they could possibly get. They were great. That still, I will say that 2007 team was as good at any Minnesota Wild team as I've covered. And they lost in 5 games to Anaheim. Why? Because Anaheim was this heavier team. Brad May knocked out Kim Janssen, Bugard, all that stuff. And what happens next year? They freaking get Todd Fedoruk and Chris Simon. They reacted to that, and then what happens? They play Colorado in the first round after winning the division, and they can't keep up with them because there you got these rugged guys on the team that are like, so every team, every like GM does that. But I do think that a lot of their slowness is the fact that they have just aged, but then you couple it with the fact that they've added these fourth liners. But I don't think they added the fourth liners just to get tougher and things like that. I just think that he didn't make a core. I think there's a lot of reasons why this team is looking slower. But I will say this. They started like this last year. I remember thinking how slow they looked the first 5-6 games of last year. Like, I do think bigger, heavier, older teams start out slower. And last year the Wild figured it out, and maybe LaPanta's right, and they're going to figure out this year. We'll see. What is good is that I'm looking at some of these teams that I thought were going to be much better, and like Arizona's garbage. Now maybe they figure it out, but they stink right now. Now to their, to be fair to them, I mean they don't have Galchenyuk right now, who is one of their big offseason moves. They don't have Christian Dvorak, who's a fantastic young center, and there's a reason why the Wild considered moving for him this summer. So they're not the team that I thought they'd be yet, but that's one team that I thought the Wild would have to look out for, and they looked awful to me last night. So anyway. Come on, Brandon.
The look Vicky gave Brandon when the mic wasn't turned on. That was awesome.
Well, and
it's amazing Brandon didn't turn mic off.
Yeah. Well, I was interested about your comment when we were talking earlier about Fenton maybe saving, cap space to make a big move, because he's got to be a little nervous right now.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt. I mean, part of me the other night, I was watching him walk out of the Bridgestone Arena. I was thinking of he's like, I shouldn't say it. I was thinking like, there was a thought bubble over my head, it would have said, "Be careful what you wish for." That was kind of like this poor guy is leaving Bridgestone Arena to go with his Minnesota Wild on the bus when he could be the National. It's just, blah blah blah.
Be nice now.
But anyway,
Vicky, thank you.
I still think I will. The Wild are better than the way they've played so far, and I think they'll get better. But they've got to continue the momentum. Like, they can't just all of a sudden say, all right, they're playing 2 tough games this weekend at Dallas, which they usually lose, and home against Tampa, and that's usually with tough travel, they're going to just fold up and die and wait till the following week when they play LA and Colorado at home. Like, now you gained something yesterday with Arizona. Go out now and continue the momentum and win some big games this weekend and show your fan base that you actually have a chance here. So
we're live at Delano's Pizza. Everybody's enjoying the pizza. I know Vicky had some kind of salad. Michael's eating a salad. They have beer. They have cocktails. They have lunch specials. They're open really late at night. Lots of big screen TVs. They have a jukebox. They have bubble hockey. It's a great place to hang out. And again, it's walking distance to both all the sports venues downtown Minneapolis, but also the music venues. So you can come here early before your event. You can come back late after the event. They've been great to us again. And they have a place in Woodbury as well, and they have a large delivery area. Thanks also.
Next one, November 1st here, 6 p.m.
Our next one tentatively is November 1st, 6 p.m. It's a Thursday night. That'll be our next show here. Follow us on social media for updates to that time. And also, thanks to Tony Hoagland, your State Farm agent in Champlin. Sometimes Tony comes out to the live shows too. It's Hoaglund, and we don't really have to vouch for him because Michael and I both get our insurance through him. So you know what we think of Tony.
Hey, Minnesota sports fans. This is your local State Farm agent, Tony Hoagland. I need you all to ask yourselves this question. If you're in an at-fault car accident and you are sued for $700,000, how much of that $700,000 will my current insurance company pay? If you are unsure or can't answer all $700,000, you need to give us a call. State Farm has been number one in car insurance since World War II and number one in homeowners insurance since 1964. For a no-obligation review of your current policies, call us at 763-421-4900 or check out our website at www.champlininsurance.com.
All right, so, one thing I think we've all kind of noticed and talked about through 6 games this year is that the team definitely looks progressively slower. Thinking back to our off-season additions of Hendricks, Fair, Brown, they're not really the fastest type of guys, so why wasn't speed really addressed this off-season with this aging team?
Yeah,
good question.
It's a good question. I think Brown, I think they all thought he would be faster than he is, and hopefully he becomes a better player because right now, Boudreau wasn't a fan of his in training camp, and I can't imagine he is right now. But they're in a position where they have to use him, obviously, with Eriksson Ek hurt and Hendricks hurt. But Hendricks, that was both. Fenton was. It's funny. Hendricks, we all thought that was all a Bruce Boudreau decision. Fenton was his mentor in Nashville. Fenton drafted Hendricks. Fenton loved him. The first guy that he called in free agency, I understand, is Hendricks. So that was as much Fenton as Bruce. Fair is somebody that again, they didn't have enough money. They had to sign somebody for $1 million or less as fourth line center, and so Bruce had Fair, so they thought that would be a natural fit. I don't think he's as bad a skater though. But I think when you add all of it together, and the fact that guys like Nino is not skating well right now, that Koivu seems to have slowed. Remember, Stahl always seems to start out skating like this, and then he becomes really good. So I think again he's going to pick it up. But I think in hindsight, yeah, you wish you would. But also when you're getting cheap fourth-line guys and that's all you can afford, there's a reason why they're free agents at that point. So hopefully that answers your question. But I don't think they realized that they were going to look like this right off the hop, this slow. There are guys who just aren't skating well right now, regardless, in addition to those fourth-liners you mentioned. Again, guys that have been better skaters are just not skating well right now.
By the way,
nobody's taking all these giveaways. I was so proud of bringing this stuff.
Yeah, it's like a gold mine. It's like an actual, literal gold mine. But the thing I was trying to spit out before was you say LaPanta the way Seinfeld said Newman.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yes.
Yep, Newman. You should take that VHS slap shot there, Colin.
Yeah, because I'm sure you have a VHS player at home. And you can drive your Pacer back home and watch your VSH tapes.
What's up?
Yes, sir.
Long-time listener, first time here.
Thank you. Thanks for
Jerry,
coming out.
right?
Yep.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
I gave him an athletic phone wallet.
What more do you want out of life?
Yeah.
So the question that you brought up earlier, about the superstars here at the NHL, like, for example, McDonald, McDavid, Matthews, heck, even Kane, Taves, those are not guys that you wait for free agency here. Those are guys that you draft within the top 5.
Right.
And given, when the Wild made that, that miracle run here in 03-04, that's kind of the hard thing here to follow here. It's almost like you want to make the playoffs every year.
Yeah.
But then you miss out the opportunity to draft high. So, right now they're talking about is just Jack Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
So what point do you think at this point here that fans should think about?
Tanking?
I won't say the word tanking, but you also have to think about the year 2020 when Seattle comes in town, is it going to be the same process here?
It is. I mean, I'm not laughing at your question. I'm laughing because of just this memory of when Jim and I started this podcast. I had this flashback of us sitting in the press box doing a podcast at XL Energy Center talking about how they should tank for McDavid.
Yes.
And Jim and I have been on kind of that run forever. Tank. I will say this. Look, there are certain game breakers in every draft that are special and unbelievable and are, I don't want to say worth tanking for, but are like that. But you can pick where the Wild pick every year and draft better. And, that's just a fact. It's like, it's easy to say that that you lose the quality in draft picks at this stage. But every year there's guys. I mean, the Wild took Alex Tuch over David Pasternak. They took Brock Besser, or they took Eriksson Ek over Brock Besser. Although, as I was talking to one broadcaster yesterday, every team in the league probably would. And that's the truth. I'm not trying to make an excuse for the Wild. And everybody that listens to this show knows that I've harped on this that they should have taken Besser. But, he pointed out to me that every team in the league would have taken Eriksson Ek over Besser. Zach Phillips, 2 picks later, Ricard Raquel. It's just on and on and on and on. So you can draft better, too. So you don't have to tank to – remember, also, every non-playoff team technically has a chance to get the number 1 pick. So that would be an unbelievable, awful experience for the fans to endure, a tank, to get to finish 31st, and then you lose the lottery and pick 4th or something, So
Ottawa's actually doing pretty well here. People were expecting them to be pretty awful at this time.
Yeah, the Wild?
No, the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, they still will be.
So the second question is, do you foresee any moves here in preparation for the 2020 when Seattle comes in?
Well, I mean, again, it's the thought of even having to deal with these questions again on who they protect, who they don't. I will say Mikko gave him a really good gift by making sure that his 2-year deal ended before that so he wouldn't have to be protected. And that was important to the Wild and to Chuck Fletcher to do that extension to make sure. But yeah, I mean, Paul Fenton will have to figure out on which guys he'd have to protect or not protect, and maybe make moves. I do think that a lot of GMs are going to look at the way that George McPhee fleeced a lot of teams and say, hey, it's not worth losing 2 or 3 players to protect 1. I think the Wild at this stage would say that's true. It's painful for an organization as little top prospects as they have to watch Alex Tuch play so well for Vegas.
We asked for Twitter questions, but we got so many live questions we haven't gotten any. Let's do a couple quickly before we wrap up here. Thanks again to everybody who came out and everybody who listens. From Justin Bakke, do you see the Wild trying to make moves to become a younger team? I love her, guys, but I saw a stat last night. The Wild is one of the oldest rosters in the NHL. Does Klus or Anas get called up at any point? How soon until Cunnin is ready to go with the NHL club? Answer any of those.
Well, I mean, yeah, they are. They're the oldest team in the league. I need to get Justin a subscription to The Athletic, by the way, I think. And then theathletic.com/I know Russo.
I know Russo's the promo code,
yeah,
right?
And you'd know that they are the youngest, the oldest, not one of the oldest, because I've been writing about it for months. But yeah, I mean, look, Anas isn't getting called up. I mean, we saw again that he wasn't given a huge rope in training camp. Klus, had a good camp, but he is what he is. They're bringing Reed up. Look, they don't have top prospects down there. I mean, that's like Klus and Hennis and Reed and these guys are not going to turn the Wild into a faster, younger, greater team. I mean, it's just a fact. As much as I would give anything to watch Sam Hennis on this team. I think that he's a great young minor league player, but for some reason the organization just doesn't seem to give him a ton of opportunity here. So
from our friend MJ, who comes to some of the live shows, when will the events production team gear their product to a wider range of demographics? What would you like to eliminate from the game production or change from the game production?
Kiss cam, hate it.
Okay, that answers that.
Yeah.
Patrick with an interesting question. Does Michael have a favorite Halloween memory or favorite scary movie?
Well, I'm friends with Oren Kulis, who is the producer of the Saw series, so I'll have to say Saw. But Halloween memories, no. But it is funny that I.
By the way, we need to talk to Jarrett, and we need to have a special where every time you name drop, people get like a free drink or something.
Oren used to be the owner of the Tampa Bay
Lightning.
Lightning.
Need designated drivers. That's the only problem.
So he was He also, I think, was Spin City producer. Yeah. So anyway, no, I was thinking like one of the things like now I'm building this house, and I was thinking like how weird, like, you know, for somebody that's lived in a high rise pretty much my entire life, to have Halloween like kids knock on the door is going to kind of suck.
Russo hiding in the dark, giving away CBAs.
We're gonna just have
some little kid dressed as Gretzky comes to the door and knocks. I'm gonna get something from Michael Russo. Here's a 1942 CBA.
I'm gonna have all the lights off, or I'm gonna have like a big jack-o'-lantern out there with like athletics like subscription codes or something. Here, happy Halloween, trick or treat, trick. I was walking down the aisle of my plane yesterday coming back from Nashville, and there was and it's so funny because Nick Henry, Russo's Filter, on his podcast the other day, Brandon, you'll remember this, asked me if it's my pet peeve if like a child was in first class and I was an upgrade. And I'm like, no, you know, blah, blah, blah. What are the chances, seat 4, D, I'm going by, there was a kid that had to be like 25 pounds sitting in first class, and I was pissed. Like,
Russo
this kid won't even
children,
appreciate first class, and he's getting upgraded. He's like sucking on a lollipop, and I'm going back to freaking steerage. I thought that was bad. Yeah, that pissed me off.
Russo hates children.
And then, but in all honesty, favorite. I do have one Halloween memory. I've never been like holidays are not my thing. Never really got into Christmas, anything. Never. Halloween, same thing. But I do have one memory from about 10, 11 years ago. I went to a pumpkin carving at my friend's house garage, and not to get emotional, but the boy. So my friend had passed away. So the son of my friend made a carved a pumpkin, a Bougard pumpkin. And it was boo. I have it on my Facebook, and I was so moved by this, I took a picture of it and I sent it to Boogie, and Boogie couldn't believe it. He loved it, and Boogie wanted to surprise him and come to his house. And unfortunately, this is an unbelievable story. So Boogie was going to surprise the kid and come to his house, and then all of a sudden the night before, I can't remember. This is an unbelievable. Now that even just comes into my mind too. It's an unbelievable story. So Boogie, the night before he does this, he gets into a fight, and he has to the next morning get a root canal. And it was that root canal that, if you read John Branch's book, that kind of started his path toward painkillers and things like that. That actually just popped in my head. But that day, Boogie texts me as I'm going out there. He goes, "Hey, I can't come. I got to go to the dentist to go do this." So anyway, but that's kind of one of my cool memories. And the other part of it that will not shock anybody is that I refused to carve a pumpkin, because I didn't know that when you carve a pumpkin that you're supposed to actually like pull out the guts, and I didn't want to get dirty. So
you're wearing slacks.
Yeah, I know.
You can't do it when you're wearing slacks.
Yeah, I'm not a big pumpkin carver.
You know what? I have some Halloween stuff we can talk about next week, but I think we've bothered people for long enough for one night. If there are any final questions, rush up here and ask it. Otherwise, I'm going to thank our. Oh yes, sir.
Oh my God, I got a bone to pick with you.
You talk about this guy named Paul Fenton, like he has anything to do with the Wild. Who do Suter and Parisi want to trade?
Ooh. Go ahead, Michael. Answer that question.
Probably everybody at this point. So this is my friend Brian. I learned something about Brian, that you're going to Laughlin tomorrow.
That is correct.
Yeah. You know who goes to Laughlin?
Old people.
Yeah. That was kind of what I was going to say. Or people that are no longer allowed in the casinos in Vegas or something because you're like a card counter or something. Who goes to Laughlin? How do you even fly to Laughlin? Do you fly into Laughlin?
Yes.
Okay.
They fly into Laughlin.
You fly to Vegas and you get on a horse.
Fly right into Laughlin.
Really?
Yeah.
What, Sun Country?
Yep.
Okay, I was going to say, I know Delta's not going there.
Well, thank you for agitating, Michael. We appreciate it.
Can you answer the question?
Yeah, answer the question.
No, I really should not. So
there's a guy up on 5th in Hennepin burning stuff in a barrel. You might want to take your stuff up there.
Brian, we needed to save you. We'll reserve you that seat. You just come every week. Only agitate him earlier in the show, like Vicky does. Agitate him early, and we reap benefits for the entire hour. All right, I'm going to come to Michael for a final thought.
That was my final thought. That
No,
was a good,
I'm going to come to you for a final
He
thought.
literally ripped my giveaways and then dropped the mic. Don't you think that's a perfect way to...
I'm going to give you a rebuttal. First of all,
do you believe that I had to travel around Europe with him? I had to travel around Italy this summer with him. He was on our Italy trip and just making jokes. He's the one that I told you it was a real fun. Oh, we had a fantasy trade. He was he's the one that we were on this train to Cinque Terre, and the entire train we were talking about how he was going to kill his wife, or no, how his wife was going to kill you.
That's a better story. Yeah, let's go with that one.
It was really funny. So until he actually almost fell off into the Mediterranean Sea, and then we all would have thought that she did it. So I wish that we were on camera right now, but everybody here will get a kick of this.
Nobody else wishes we were on camera right now.
We're taking this train to Cinque Terre, and the entire time we're coming up with all these Karen killing Brian. And all of a sudden, it's just he and I walking ahead of the group, and he's kind of looking up for his wife, and he honestly fell backwards into the railing that would have sent him 300 feet into the Mediterranean. And I'm just the first thing I thought of was looking for cameras to make sure that I wouldn't have been accused of this. I mean, he was fell into but we almost lost Brian. And everybody would have thought Karen did it. I mean, there's no doubt. I would have had to been your witness that no, he just did a little somersault into the Mediterranean Sea. It was a funny instant.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my final thought.
No,
how
it's
many
not your
final thoughts
thought.
do I have to have? That we've had 50.
Let me thank Delano's Pizza, again, downtown Minneapolis by Ramp C, very close to Target Center, Target Field. Thanks for sponsoring and hosting the shows. Thanks to our other sponsors, Bite Squad. Remember, this is just a deal for Friday and Saturday. It's for when you're watching hockey and other sports on Friday and Saturday. Use the promo code WILD2018 for $10 off your next order. Thanks to Twill in the Edina Galleria, WizKids.tech, a downtown Minneapolis tech firm, Fixology Repair, Third Floor Mall of America, and in the Skyway downtown. Tony Hoagland, your State Farm agent Champlin. Remember, what's the promo code for The Athletic?
theathletic.com/IKnowRusso.
All right,
$2.99 a month.
And are you going to come up with a final thought?
No, that's good. Well, my final thought is I'm
You're
on
so
this
hard to work with.
Minneapolis parking app, and I can't even figure out how to extend my
Not
time.
that you would ever just get distracted during the middle of the show. By
Does
the
anybody know how to
moon
do this?
Or your phone or anything else. Thank you to everybody who came out. We appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. And please give Michael a hand because his ego needs it.
Pretty little city built on a hillside. Music in the bars and fire in the sky. We went to the beach and it was covered in ice. And I used to call it home. So much coming out, there's nothing going in. I know that you feel like you're never gonna win. Oh, but the world won't forgive a winner.
Perception in town that you're this negative, throw fire against buildings type writer. Just
throw fire against buildings type writer.
From the kids to Aunt Sue. Keep your whole family connected on all their devices with crowd-pleasing gig-speed internet from Xfinity. Now that's simple, easy, awesome. Learn more about gig-speed internet or other popular plans, now with even more speed. Enjoy faster downloads and a better streaming experience today. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit an Xfinity store for a great offer. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Security threats are everywhere. But with Xfinity XFi, you're notified of threats to your in-home Wi-Fi network, so all your connected devices are protected. That's simple, easy, awesome. Go online, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit today. Restrictions apply.